We have lost objective butter.
Just go have fun. Why is there a whole bunch of just one-person squads? That's silly as hell. Silly as hell.
We have taken objective Edward. We have lost objective butter.
Fuck you, you fucking faggot. I can't believe you took that many bullets. God damn it, what the fuck ever. Pure fucking luck, man. Bad luck for me, luck for that faggot.
A sentry kit is available near your location.
Where? Where's the sentry kit? I don't know where that shit's at. I don't see it on the map. Show anything nearby? My fucking game.
Lost objective Freddy. We have taken objective Duff.
Goddamn fucker. Showed me getting shot from behind. I guess sniper must have got that shot off, but I don't know. Showed me getting shot from behind, and it clearly was from a fucking not a sniper. Totally out of everything I got here.
We are losing objective Duff.
Grenade, I guess.
We have lost Objective Edward. We have taken Objective Freddy. We are losing. We are losing Objective Duff. We have lost Objective Duff.
That one's not. Well. Hell yeah. Badass map. Shit. The wrong class.
We have taken Objective George.
I'm moons away from everything.
We have taken Objective Duff.
Mini moon. Oh, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not. I am mini moon. Okay.
We have taken Objective Edward.
Don't want to get snapped. You know what I mean?
We have taken Objective Freddy.
tarafta. Bir düşman gözcüsü.
Oh man, I
We have
messed
lost
up.
objective
I gotta
Edward.
fix the fucking magnification on that. That's fucking gay. I definitely got it at 1.5 or 2. Not good. Don't like it. Oh man, way too high. Horrible. Motherfucker.
We are losing objective Charlie.
How the fuck are you up there in that spot?
We have lost objective Charlie.
Bakın bir sıhhiyeci.
We have taken objective Duff.
Fuck, how did you get up there? I didn't know there was another door. Shit.
We are losing objective Duff. We have taken objective Charlie.
Move, ass fuck! What the fuck? That was bullshit, and everyone knows it. It's not a kill for that guy. I didn't even get to the gas before the gas gave me a death. It's fucking hacks.
We have lost objective Charlie.
Düşman sıhhiyeci tespit edildi.
We have taken objective Charlie. We have taken objective Freddy. We have lost objective Charlie.
Düşman süvarisi
Objective
görüldü.
Edward. We are losing objective Duff. We are losing objective Duff. halfway there, the enemy has the upper hand. We have lost objective Freddy.
Düşman süvarisi görüldü.
Return to the combat area.
Oh, fucking god damn it. I'm pissed. I was kicking ass.
We have taken objective Butter. We have lost objective Edward.
Come on, where's my tank? Spawn already, what the fuck?
Bir sıhhiyeci görüyorum. Hücum kıtası askeri. Ona dikkat eyleyin.
Fuck that. Not getting any hit.
Düşman süvarisi tam orada.
We have lost objective butter.
Bir asker görüldü. Onu gördünüz mü? Onların askerlerinden biri. Şurada hasım askeri. Bir düşman askerine doğru bakıyorum. Hedefi müdafaa edin. Hasım
We
askeri
have taken
o tarafta.
objective butter. Dikkat eyleyin! Bir asker! We have taken objective Charlie. We have lost objective George. have taken objective butter.
Got him.
We have taken objective George.
Oh well, I was in a tank. 30-0, nice. That guy. Gotta watch Sports Center, I think. I want to. Or Mike and Mike, the rest of it, and First Take. All of it.
It's absolutely accurate. And I don't, it's a combination of, again, the place that Jordan occupied, still occupies in some ways, in basketball and in sport and in culture. And the second part of that is just the way we're nastier than ever as people. We're less civil to each other as a culture. And so no one seems to escape that. We weren't that nasty 25 years ago when Jordan was doing this. And I don't know if he played now, he'd have to receive some of it because we are nastier. So, yeah, it's part the times and part Jordan. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, people, I'm sure I know players who, wanted nothing more in their lives to do than to beat the great Michael Jordan, but they didn't express a resentment that we would get in the same way today. No, Greeny, if that's more than fair, that's accurate.
As far as the Knicks are concerned, instead of rehashing everything that's been going on, including how Latrell Sprewell and James Dolan are BFFs now, moving past that, what's the out for the Knicks? What remedies this? How does it get better there?
Well, there's two things. I mean, what the out for the Knicks is, you get rid of everybody, which is going to happen. You get rid of everybody. That seems inevitable. When I say everybody, I mean everybody that the owner can get rid of, which will be, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Phil Jackson, Carmelo, all of them at some point, whether it happens before the trade deadline or not till the summer. That's the out. That's the easy, quick out. The remedy, that's another story. Because you got the owner, as he reminds us. Was it him or was it? Oh no, it was young Jed York. When he said to somebody in San Francisco who posed this similar question, he basically said, "I'm the owner. Nobody gets rid of me." Mm-hmm. And that's what the Knicks and Knicks fans are faced with doing.
That's exactly right. No one gets rid of him, no matter how much he deserves. And look, he said those guys aren't going anywhere. You think Carmelo gets traded in the next 2 weeks?
This is a funny thing, just asking people about this over the weekend. I mean, other NBA executives and people in high places with teams, and they think no. They think no, that Carmelo's going to wind up there, which seems to me to just be so untenable. And given the open way they've tried to get rid of him and antagonize him in the process, if I'm the Clippers, what do I have to lose here? The Clippers aren't going to beat. The Clippers can't get within 35 points of Golden State. They can't. And I know they beat San Antonio in a series a couple years ago, one of the great playoff series I've ever covered. But they're not going to beat them this year either. And I don't think they can beat Houston. And so they have to look at their own team and say, what can we do now to help this team this year? Because their window is not like Golden State's window. Their window is shutting. And Carmelo would help them. The question is, and he helps for next year. I can't see them re-signing Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. So Blake Griffin looks like he'd be the odd guy out unless Chris Paul just wants to go elsewhere. Either way, they're not going to get both of them. But if you have Carmelo, it seems that you're a leg up in keeping Chris Paul. It seems that way to me. I just don't understand. The Clippers would be the place that makes sense for Carmelo to land. Can they strike a deal to land him there now? But again, in talking to people who are in high places at teams, they think that the ones I talk to think, no, he's going to wind up in New York past the deadline.
I think it's starting to look that way as well. Super quick, who's the MVP of the league right now?
Ooh. It's a three-horse race. I'm going to say Harden today, but if you ask me tomorrow, Mike, I may say Durant or Westbrook. I think it's just a three-horse race. It can't be Isaiah Thomas as much as he's playing fabulously. It's one of those three. Today, Harden, but tomorrow, somebody else.
All right, and tomorrow we'll talk more Northwestern on this program as well. I promise you that. Micah Wilbon, thank you very much. We'll be watching tonight.
Get used to it. Come on, give us our day in the sun. The Domers get every day of the year for 100 years. Don't mess with us now. We're riding high. Leave us alone.
All right, man. I won't knock you off your horse. You enjoy the ride.
We've only been waiting our entire lives. Thank you, Michael. Michael Wilbon on the Shell Pennzoil Performance line, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Back in a moment on Mike and Mike.
Rated T for teen.
Sure, you can take down a 60-foot robotic dinosaur with one of these. But where's the skill in that? Survive a future dominated by machines. Protect yourself with unique outfits. Take down your enemies with specialized weapons. Get this bonus content and more in the Horizon Zero Dawn Digital Deluxe Edition. Available only on the PlayStation Store.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when I was too busy with the kids to get a repair estimate. I just snapped a photo and got an estimate in 24 hours.
My insurance company definitely doesn't have that.
You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
If there was any way to make the $10 any pizza carryout deal from Pizza Hut any easier or any better, we'd do it. But any way we slice it, you're free to choose any large pizza with any toppings or any recipe, like Supreme or Meat Lovers on original thin crust. The $10 any pizza. No one else pizzas the Hut.
deal on KBB.com's best overall buy for 2017.
Finished. You wouldn't want your painter to quit partway.
Think you missed a spot.
So when it comes to pain relievers, why put up with just part of a day? Aleve. Live whole, not part.
You want this color over the whole house. Mobility is very important to me. That's why I use E-Trade Mobile. It's on all my mobile devices, so it suits my mobile lifestyle. And it keeps my investments fully mobile, even when I'm on the move.
Sign up at eTrade.com and get up to $600.
There's nothing more important to me than my vacation. So when I need to book a hotel room, I want someone that makes it easy to find what I want. Booking.com gets it. They offer free cancellation in case I decide to go from kid-friendly to kid-free. Now I can start relaxing even before the vacation begins.
Your vacation is very important. That's why Booking.com makes finding the right hotel for the right price easy. Visit Booking.com now to find out why we're Booking.yeah.
Hollywood's biggest stars have their eyes on one prize.
It is the greatest achievement possible for humankind.
I just want to be your man. And the Oscar goes to... Thank you so very much. Jimmy Kimmel hosts the Oscars live Sunday, February 26th on ABC.
Don't waste your time and money at the chain store. They got the best auto parts, brake parts, suspension parts, and dealer parts too. The website's so easy to use. Lowest prices and fast delivery too. All the parts your car will ever need. All the savvy folks are buying parts at rockauto.com. All the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com.
We are Mike and Mike, and the Twitter reaction, Mike. I'd like to address this one. Zanetta tweets, could your distaste for the Warriors have to do with the fact they are the Warriors and not a more mainstream team like the Bulls? I'm going to tell you right now, the Warriors are as mainstream as it gets on two different fronts. One is, I think for the last couple of years, they have been the most popular team on the road, the biggest draw, the ones who get the most attention even before they went out and signed Kevin Durant. And two, you know, I know a lot of the Warriors were bad for a very long period of time, but historically the Warriors have been a major franchise. I mean, I go back to Rick Barry, the Al Attles team that swept Washington in a final and won the championship that year. And certainly more recently the Run TMC teams with Mullen and Hardaway and those guys. So they have had really good teams. To me, I don't consider the Warriors an out of the mainstream team.
No, I think they have one of the most popular guys in Steph Curry with especially the younger fans. You know, so I think he is most popular with the younger fans. So I don't look at them as out of the mainstream either.
And Jason tweets, how did Batman Lego compare to the first Lego movie? I didn't care for the first. I was thinking of skipping Batman. Loved it.
It's the same kind of premise. So if you didn't like the Lego movie, I loved it.
Did you see the Lego
movie.
first one? Okay.
Yeah, loved it. And this though did have some great references to old Batmans, which was really good. Plus, what you do in like a Lego movie, animated movie, things like that, is you make it so adults will get some of the humor as well, or you have some adult humor in there, and they did. They had references that will have you cracking up, and some that just go by so fast you almost have to see it again to get them all. I really enjoyed it. But if you didn't like the first one, you don't kind of like the premise of it kind of moving the way it does, then you may not like it. I loved it.
Brandon also is upset I didn't give you a fork and knife for your donut. You're right. That was my bad.
Would have thrown it right back at you.
10 seconds. Mike and our moment from Grasshoppers. Oh, look, remember when a small business needed a landline? Today, landlines are a thing of the past with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system.
Yep, on the road or at home, Grasshopper helps you grow your business, get all the features of a business phone system and the freedom of a cell phone. Group performance, Stressed Out, 21 Pilots. So I like this song too. Good song.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Go ahead.
So Adele won Record of the Year,
Album of the Year,
Album
Song
of the Year, and Song of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
What is the distinction? Like, I know what an album was, and I guess still is. I know what, I guess a song is just an individual song.
Song is Hello, the Record of the Year is Hello, and the Album of the Year is 25. That's the album.
Okay, so what separates record from song? Like, why are those separate awards? I mean, I just don't understand.
Fair question.
What is the difference between a song and a record?
I don't know.
It says here, the Song of the Year is awarded to the writer and composer of a single song. The Record of the Year is awarded to the performer and production team. I get it.
There you go.
So it's the same. It's both for the song, but it's given to. She won both of them because she was both the writer and the performer.
Yeah, for Hello, it actually says Adele Atkins and what was it, Greg Kurstin, songwriters.
I get it.
So there you go.
So I'm glad I asked.
Well done.
We looked into it and we actually got to some information this morning.
Some relevant.
I can't be the only one who was wondering that.
No, I'm sure
What's the difference between Song of the Year and Record of the Year?
I'm sure you weren't. That was 3 of her 5. We mentioned or 2: Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Pop Solo Performance of the Year, Pop Vocal Album of the Year. And again, the moment was when she won for Album of the Year. A lot it was between really her and Beyonce with Lemonade. That she actually broke the Grammy in half and wanted to give half to Beyonce. They both performed. They were both excellent in their performances, without a doubt. And then Adele did a kind of a tribute to George Michael. We didn't start out well, and she started it over again.
Stopped it and started over
again to make sure she got it right. Bruno Mars did a tribute to Prince, which was an excellent job. So in a night Grammys, there's some wacky stuff out there, but for the most part, when you get those performances, I dig them.
And Drake won a Grammy last night. We will play Drake when we have Doris Burke on.
There you go.
For all of the obvious reasons. She'll join us in our next hour. Okay, I want to just quickly go back to a tweet that we got earlier this morning. We were talking about how NFL executives, according to a report that I read you, were quote-unquote seething over the way the Patriots sort of went after them gleefully, and particularly the commissioner, Roger Goodell. And maybe the one real low blow. Like, to me, everything Kraft said on the podium was 100% fine. To me, the fans are going to say what they're going to say, and there's no controlling that.
No.
Brady basically didn't say anything.
Nothing.
Brady's father I didn't have any problem with. The one that I looked at and I said, I'm not sure that's not a little bit outside the pale, was Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, getting off the plane wearing the Goodell clown shirt.
Yep.
I did think to myself, that's really a low blow.
It's a Barstool thing, and he's a Barstool guy as well. Big fan of theirs.
And yet, he is a prominent member of the coaching staff, sort of a leader. And it's one thing to say, I believe what the league did was wrong here. To portray the commissioner in that way, look, it's his right to do it.
I could have easily seen a player wearing that before a coach.
Much more quickly.
Yeah.
And so we got what I asked you if you thought that would hurt his chances of getting a head coaching job someplace, which I assume he aspires to. I don't know that for sure. You've heard his name kicked about a couple of times. Kevin sent a tweet after we talking about it saying, the T-shirt will definitely hurt Patricia. As a head coach, you can be funny, but not the class clown. Owners will see that as the class clown.
Not the head coach, though. He's a defensive
but my point is,
no, I know
that's an image.
But you don't know. Maybe as a coach, he wouldn't do something like that. He was loyal to his team. That's something. If he was a head coach, maybe he wouldn't have done that. But he's not. So I don't foresee it being held against him. I see that as someone may say he's loyal to his team. A lot of people think they got screwed in this thing, and that was his few minutes away of firing back. To me, I don't. I'll just say this. If that's going to stop you from hiring that guy, if you think he could be really good head coaching material, and that stops you, okay, that's on you then.
Well, look,
that's the way I look at it.
But the one thing is that we know in most of these job searches, if you're not Nick Saban or someone like that, then you're going to have 5 people who are all probably equally qualified. So you're looking for things to set them apart from each other. So if that's a negative one, if it is, I'm not saying it is, but if an owner views that as, look, there are probably owners out there that like the commissioner.
Yeah.
There were certainly owners who pushed Deflategate on the commissioner. So those, they might have an opening and they might hold it.
There will be some owners, certainly, that will not think that was the greatest move, and who knows what their thought process is if that guy is going to interview with their team.
We're Mike and Mike. Our Sports Center is brought to you by Lowe's. From February 14th through the 16th, pros save 5% on all purchases at Lowe's, or save 10% when you use your Lowe's Business Credit Account. That's all purchases in store or online. Credit offers subject to credit approval. U.S. only. Doris Burke is next. Mike and Mike.
This President's Day, get to Nissan now and save on a lineup with intelligent safety features and America's best truck warranty. Take on the everyday with 6 2017 IIHS top safety picks. It's clear why we're America's fastest growing auto brand. Now,
Yes. Going to make Russell Westbrook for MVP. Its 100th consecutive win.
You have a team that might get to the NCAA tournament that has never been in their existence as a college.
Well, thank you, Mike, for mentioning that.
I figured I would quickly so you wouldn't, expound upon it.
Northwestern with a huge win. Lots of very interesting NBA this weekend, including Kevin Durant and James Dolan and the Knicks and everything else. Let me read you a couple of quick tweets, and we'll get Doris in here in a second. A couple of quick tweets on the reaction to the Matt Patricia thing. I do think it's interesting. Matt Patricia, defensive coordinator, New England Patriots, wears the Goodell clown shirt coming back from the Super Bowl, knowing it's going to be seen, right? Those guys get off that plane knowing there are going to be cameras waiting outside the minute they deplane. So they're going to be seen. So he's putting that out there. And look, I don't know for sure that he wants to be a head coach. I assume he does. Almost all coaches want to be. Now, maybe in his mind, he thinks that he'll eventually succeed Belichick, and he'll wait that out or whatever.
Right.
And maybe he thinks it won't make any difference that he was wearing that shirt, and maybe it won't. Maybe the owners out there won't care. But I do think it's worthy of asking. Kyle tweets, Rex Ryan would have worn the same shirt of a clown Goodell given the same circumstances, and he was the head coach. I'm going to tell you, I don't think so.
I don't think he would have worn it as a head coach.
I really don't.
I don't.
I get that he was outrageous. He did a lot of crazy things. I don't think he would have worn that shirt.
I agree with you. I don't think he would either.
Ryan tweets, take the high road, Patricia. Lead from the front. They won the Super Bowl. No need to take shots. That's the other side of it.
Yeah.
Is the ultimate revenge has been
as you won. Sure. No, I completely agree with that. That's why when I saw it, my first reaction was, ooh. And then I went, oh, man. Kind of like that. And I, as I said, I would discount, if I was the league, everything from when they won the Super Bowl from the podium on through the parade, kind of clip that off and say that was their time, and then it's all now going into the offseason and about next year.
Mike Keach tweets at us, KD left a relevant team for a team that doesn't have to compete. 3 players on Golden State deserve the money that KD gets. I wanted to read that one aloud because of his use of the word compete. Just think back 2 weeks ago, Mike. What was the huge story in basketball? Charles Barkley, LeBron James.
Right.
What was the word that LeBron seemed to really react to?
Yep, said Charles insinuated LeBron didn't want to compete.
That was
having
sort
all
of
the
where
good players together.
The dispute, if you looked at the dispute between Charles and LeBron, you could frame it, I think, very simply this way. Charles Barkley believed his criticism was professional, and LeBron James took it as personal.
Right. He took 2 things. The whining, that I'm sure he didn't like that word at all, and the part about compete.
I think that the one that I fixated on, at least, I can't speak to LeBron, of course, was that part about not wanting to compete. And I wonder if the people who view LeBron that way, is that how they now view Kevin Durant?
Right. As someone who didn't want to come back with Oklahoma City, with Russell Westbrook, work to get over that hump, that one more game hump, to try and get the championship and knock off the supposed big dog at that point of Golden State. Yeah.
Well, we have got a lot of basketball to get to here this morning. We're Mike and Mike. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm standing by our next guest on our Shell Pennzoil Performance line and putting the themes together, Mike. We've been playing Grammy Award-winning music from last night. Well, for Doris Burke, there was really only one choice.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
Yeah, he won a Grammy last night for Best Rap Song Performance.
There's no way not to play Drake.
Yeah.
When we bring in our very own Doris Burke. Good morning, Doris.
Good morning. Good morning. Do you think I could call him on his cell phone and congratulate him on his Grammy?
Well, listen, he had your face on his shirt. I gotta imagine you should have the digits. You know what I'm talking about? Can leave that one alone. Huh?
All I'll say is, you guys can ask as much as you want. I'm not saying a word.
Fair enough. All I'll say is, if you were to call him to celebrate his win, my sense is he'd like it.
Yeah,
I think he'd like hearing from you, but I can't speak for that. Okay, there's a million different things going on, Doris. So let's go through them. Let's just start with last week's fiasco, which was the Knicks and all of that with Oakley. You were actually in the building when that happened, and all the stuff that happened. And you saw yesterday where, all of a sudden, by a magical coincidence, Latrell Sprewell and James Dolan picked yesterday to bury the hatchet after 13 years. So as you've just sort of watched all of this unfold the last week or so, what has been your perspective?
The word I would use, it feels heavy-handed to me. And it's interesting, when the Knicks had passed me the statement on the night of that game, because I was the sideline reporter in the building, before Mike Green could toss it over to me, I quickly texted Jeff Van Gundy, and I said, I'm not aware of any personal issues or substance abuse or mental health. There was nothing that I had ever heard of where Charles Oakley was concerned. And you have to remember, I was a fan of Knicks teams because I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area. And so I was a huge Oak fan. And right away, Jeff texts back, no, none that I'm aware of. And I said, well, then the last line of this statement I'm about to read, it's quite heavy-handed. And then when I saw those two guys in the building, that too felt, maybe heavy-handed is the wrong word, but it certainly felt wrong in terms of its timing. So, listen, I think Knicks fans have lots of questions. They don't seem to be getting any answers from the ownership or from Phil Jackson. I think that's probably frustrating. And the reality is there's a piece of me, guys, that comes at this from a Knicks fan. I want hope. I want to know that we have an opportunity to get back into the mix long-term as a viable competitive option in the Eastern Conference. And I just don't know, as excited as I am about Kristaps Porzingis, I'm not sure what the long-term plan is. Where are we going? What are we doing?
So that being said, you said you grew up a Knicks fan. If you were a Knicks fan and not doing what you're doing, would you keep buying tickets for this product and keep going to the games?
I think obviously, yes, because fans are long-suffering. We are hopeful to the last. And because, and I know in talking to Mike Green over the course of the season, there's a ton of excitement, obviously, about Kristaps. I think I would like to see, personally, Hernan Gomez in the lineup more often. I know they have three centers, but when that young man plays, he seems to rebound at a high rate. He seems to be capable of a double-double on most nights. And this is what I'm saying about a vision. What's our vision? Are we going to go young and rebuild? Are those guys going to become the focal point? What is our plan? So the answer is yes, I would buy tickets because fans are hopeful by nature.
And if you watched the game yesterday, by the way, Hubie loves Hernan Gomez. If you watch it, that's his guy. He loved it, and he had a big day yesterday, and Hubie was absolutely in rare form. All right, Doris, so that said, you cover the NBA and as well as anybody I know. So let me ask you the following question. Is there a trade involving Carmelo Anthony that you believe is impactful from the standpoint of who might win the championship this year? Is there a realistic trade out there that Anthony might be involved in that you think could shift the balance of power at the top of the league? And if so, what is it?
I'm going to answer I don't know because, Mike, as you know, you have my mind sort of locked in on the Connecticut Huskies because that's where I am tonight. I know this. If I'm a championship contender, depending on what I believe about what Carmelo Anthony is willing to be for me. So there's a lot of talk about Jimmy Butler or Paul George going to the Boston Celtics. There's talk that the Boston Celtics are not interested in Carmelo Anthony. But if Carmelo Anthony were ever willing to go to the second unit with the Boston Celtics, where they're in desperate need of some, right? The Celtics need some high-level scoring if they're going to change the championship picture, because they can win a lot of games. they can probably advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, but could they beat the Cleveland Cavaliers as currently constituted? No. But I think that as an organization, you're going to have to ask yourself, what role is Carmelo Anthony willing to absorb to be a champion? You know, you think back over some of the trades that have happened, like what Ray Allen elected to do in Miami to go and get another championship. He elected to take a smaller role because he was comfortable in his legacy. Is Carmelo Anthony that guy? You don't get the sense watching him that he is. He's still an elite scorer in the league, but obviously there are always questions defensively. You know, people are saying he's better at the 4 because he can't chase, he can't guard pick and roll. You know, what is his trade value at this point? I'm fascinated to watch how the rest of this plays. And this idea of friendships, I don't know what you think, but this idea that he's friends with this guy, that guy, I mean, if you're an organization, you're not basing your decisions on friendships, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. You're basing it on, does this guy fit a need? Does he fill a personnel need? Does he help elevate us to championship status?
You certainly better not be.
I think the organizations may not, but it feels in so many cases now like the players are to at least some degree driving these decisions, and so those relationships do become relevant.
They may just have a relationship, but I think they're looking at it from a basketball end first and saying, is this a good basketball fit? And oh, by the way, boy, us getting along will be nice as well. But I firmly agree with Doris.
Hold on. The San Antonio Spurs, I can promise you, do they look at fit? Do they look at fit in terms of personality, work habit? You know, as Pop likes to say, is this player over himself? All of it. So they look at fit, but friendship, that's a different word.
You know, you said that it's interesting. I want to get to the other stuff here in a second, but just because you mentioned it, I watched the game yesterday. If you were starting a team, and I said you could start with any player in the league, how far down the list is Kawhi Leonard? How many names are we naming? Man, this is an unfair question to ask you, as you haven't had any time to think about it whatsoever. But just as I watch him play this season, and he gets so little attention relative to how good he is, and of course he is starting in the All-Star game as well, he should. There aren't too many names that I would list before I would list his as players that I would start a team with. Does that make sense? Am I close on that?
No, you're not crossing over an inappropriate line, and it's so appropriate that Greg Popovich has coached in San Antonio for as long as he has, right? Because he wants to fly under the radar. If he had 15 beat writers in San Antonio, I'm not sure he'd have the patience to be a head coach as long as he has brilliantly manned that position. Kawhi Leonard, by his very nature, fits in San Antonio because while he is better dealing with the media, certainly more comfortable probably, and capable of handling whatever comes at him, you don't get the feeling that the guy relishes this. But yes, what we are finding in the NBA, I think, is that elite talent, elite two-way talent goes a long way toward helping an organization succeed in today's NBA. No question about it. Kawhi is a lockdown defender. It's funny, there was a moment last year in Billy Donovan's first year, and Kevin Durant obviously still playing on Oklahoma City. And they're playing San Antonio. It's early in the year. And Kevin curls around the screen at the elbow, and, the play works to perfection. But in comes Kawhi Leonard, who crowds his space, gets a hand on the ball of Kevin Durant, and by strength and hand size, strips it out of his hand. It's at the end of the third quarter, whatever it was, and I'm interviewing Billy, and I just look at him, I go, you don't see that very often against Kevin Durant. I mean, his abilities as a defensive player and ability to affect winning with his defensive ability is off the charts. What I admire about Kawhi is brick by brick he has built his offensive game. And this organization has paid attention to how he built it. And so, no, listen, obviously Anthony Davis comes to mind. The things James Harden and Russell Westbrook are doing are extraordinary. I'm curious to know who you guys would pick for your MVP. But I don't think you're over the line thing. He's probably underappreciated, Kawhi still.
Westbrook, by the way, is my MVP.
Yeah, I probably lean to Harden right now. We're talking to Doris Burke on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. She will be covering doing the UConn South Carolina game tonight. UConn 99 game winning streak right now. It's ridiculous, Doris, what's going on with them. The stat I gave before that is just mind-boggling with this 99 game win streak is they've had 2 wins in single digits and 9 wins of 60 points or more. It is just unreal. So let me ask you this way. You've been around this team a lot, and Gino Auriemma a lot. We talked so much leading into the Super Bowl about Bill Belichick, and Greeny kept trying to get to this question to former players and coaches out there. What makes Bill Belichick so different in game planning and taking guys sometimes that aren't stars, which is this year's team for UConn, no preseason All-Americans, and making them great players or the team to do great things? What makes Gino Auriemma so great as a coach and so different than all the other coaches out there?
You know, first of all, I am so glad you brought Bill Belichick up because, listen, I understand Gino Auriemma coaches women's basketball, guys. I do, and I understand sort of where it ranks in terms of, viewership. But I would like, and I think smarter basketball people than me, including Jeff Van Gundy, would tell you that this coach, deserves to be mentioned with the greatest coaches of his generation across the sports because he has been that dominant, that good. And you have to remember, I first started as a player against Gino Auriemma, and then I coached against him as an assistant coach. Listen, I say this every day, if you want to understand why they are so good, watch what they do on a daily basis. There's an accountability every single day in practice. There's a level of expectation. These kids, practice is absolutely the adverse conditions he puts these kids in practice make his practices harder than the games. The games become more enjoyable. And it's interesting, Diana Taurasi once told me, and Diana Taurasi and Gino Auriemma won 2 titles where it was Diana Taurasi and the Supremes. And it was on the brilliance and backs of Gino and Diana, those 2 titles. And I'm not dismissive of the role players around them, but in 03 and 04, when they three-peated, it was their brilliance. And she once said to me, he can spend the entire season from October to February making us feel like we're the worst team in America. But when March rolls around, he makes us feel unbeatable. This guy is a master at figuring out what makes particular players tick and challenging them in a way that they go to places as players that I don't think that they had thought in their minds they could get to. And really, what is coaching or educating? It should be taking you to places that even you didn't think you could get to. And make no mistake, I thought he'd have 3 or 4 losses by this point in the season. He has played Baylor, Maryland, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I could go down the list of teams that I think had as much as or more talent and were absolutely capable of beating his team.
Mike and Doris with us, presented by Progressive Insurance. 2 quick questions on that. One, to what, because you follow it so much more closely, to what degree do they get in people's heads? I mean, you mentioned other teams may have more talent, but to what degree when they take the floor, people see the winning streak, people see the legendary coach, these young women grew up watching him win championships. To what degree does he and do they have a mental, psychological advantage before the ball is even thrown up?
Right. This is a debate amongst our group all the time. Is it worth 5 points? Is it worth 10 points? I would tell you that is probably based on the program that happens to be standing in front of them. I read Dawn Staley's comment today. We're not playing the entire tradition of UConn. It always makes me a little uncomfortable when I hear that comment. Because, in fact, you've got to sort of, to me, be preparing your team for a lot of things. South Carolina unequivocally has enough talent to come up here and beat this team. Now, do they have the game plan discipline? Can they get to the strengths of their game? They've got the most formidable high-low game, interior game in the country with Elena Coates and Asia Wilson. Are their guards going to deliver the basketball? Are they going to be patient and get to the second side against UConn's defense? Because one of the things that makes Gino Auriemma brilliant is he always takes away your best options. You're not going to beat him with your first and second best options, typically. So tonight I think South Carolina's going to have to make shots because guarding the interior game for any team in the country is going to be problematic. Now you talk about a UConn team who has Nafisa Collier and Gabby Williams, both of whom have endured foul trouble during the course of the season. They don't have a ton of help off of the bench. Foul trouble could be an issue. But is South Carolina, one, going to be step between the lines thinking, we're better than you? and 2, have the game plan discipline necessary to execute for 40 minutes, because Connecticut's not going to beat themselves.
Where Gino is right now, again, I think of Belichick, or even, you know, amongst your peers, when people all around are saying you're the best coach of all time in Bill Belichick, and saying that about Gino in his sport, how is he received by, we know he can grate on some people at times. How is he perceived and received by other head coaches that he coaches against?
Well, I think he likes to say that my friends in the business are my friends, you know, and doesn't seem to care about the rest of it. You know, I think what women's basketball should acknowledge and recognize is that his presence has elevated the sport, and that tonight there will be an inordinate amount of attention on women's college basketball, due exclusively to the fact that his program has sustained excellence to the point they have adapted to every opponent, met every challenge. I want you to think about that. Never having a bad night. And this year being in a position where you're getting very little help from your bench. We'll have a graphic tonight documenting there are teams across the country with double the number of high school All-Americans that Gino has on his roster. They owe him a debt of gratitude. And if I'm a coach across the country, I promise you, if I were coaching in Division I women's basketball at 2 or 3 or whatever I was, I would be begging him to say, can I come up and visit with you for 4 or 5 days? Can I bring my entire staff? And can you kind of take me through some of the things that you think are important to putting together this kind of program? To me.
You can see them go for history tonight on ESPN2. UConn going for their 100th consecutive win. Again, there have only been 3 teams in NCAA history, regardless of sport, gender, or division, that have ever won 100 consecutive events. Doris, we'll be watching. Thank you so much. Doris, our pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
That's Doris Burke with us here, getting set to do the game tonight.
You know who's going to want to be coming on the show tomorrow should South Carolina pull this one off?
Is Darius.
Darius, yeah.
I think he wants to make a bet. You've already got a bet working tomorrow.
Golic, paying off.
Those of you who don't know, tomorrow is the pie in the face day. Magic Johnson will be here tomorrow, and he will pie Golic in the face, which means I will, A, be wearing some sort of poncho, and B, I will be very excited. Quick break, Mike and Mike now, word from 1-800-Flowers. And listen, I know people sometimes like to live dangerously, but seriously, you're cutting this much too close for last-minute Valentine's flowers. Lucky for you, 1-800-Flowers.com can still deliver any of their beautiful and stunning bouquets that are going to wow your special someone. The clock is ticking. Right now, special deal. Up to 40% off best-selling bouquets and gifts. Perfect for Valentine's, but you've got to order right now.
Yep, 1-800-Flowers.com, your official florist of Valentine's. Every bouquet and arrangement backed by the mile guarantee. If you want to get beautiful bouquets, arrangements, and other Valentine's Day goodies for up to 40% off, here's what you do. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter the code Mike. 1-800-Flowers.com, make sure you click the radio icon and enter the code Mike. Don't wait till...
Oh well.
Behind the head, behind the pass, for the easy three. Nicely done. Good ball movement there in kind of a fun little way. Again, behind the head, behind the back, knocking down said three.
Nothing but net.
That was nice. This not so much.
Oh my God, Buddy Hield, what are you doing?
Okay, coming through a screen by DeMarcus Cousins. Yeah. See, foul. Don't do that. He got ejected. He should be suspended for life.
And what was he complaining about? Like,
no
if you watch
idea.
it, he's initially complaining. What's he complaining about? This is Michael Carter Williams.
4-on-1, man. Is it alley-oop off the backboard? Some kind of slam. Going to be fantastic. Hey. Seriously. 4-on-1. You're thinking all kind of fun things are going to go on right now, right? What do I do with the ball? I'm going to throw it out of bounds.
Don't they practice that?
No.
That's one terrible looking break. And then, Mike, there were some moments with KD and Westbrook and a whole bunch of guys.
Oh,
What'd
yeah.
you make?
Right here. Right here. We have a eye contact. Little John. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Or whatever he said.
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'm coming.
And he said, so what?
Oh, there's a guy getting to know you. What's that?
It's a lot of exchange of germs there that I myself would not be fond of.
Could be a nice moment. Could they be saying nice things to one another?
Yeah, I was watching. It didn't seem so nice.
No, okay. Maybe not.
Cantor wanted a piece of it from the bench, too.
Good stuff.
All right, Sports Center now. Hi, Mike. Check the Sports Center headlines. Jordan Spieth won the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, his 9th career PGA Tour win in his 100th start. Spieth has been playing great. A couple of big wins in college basketball yesterday. Virginia Tech knocked off number 12 Virginia in double overtime, and Northwestern went to Madison and beat Wisconsin for one of the biggest wins in program history.
Unbelievable.
As we discussed with Michael Wilbon earlier this morning, this may finally be our year. Oh, and the Knicks snapped a 4-game losing streak with a win over the Spurs.
Anybody care?
Yeah, in a game where they, again, just so transparently and pathetically brought Latrell Sprewell back to sit next to the owner just to show what a good guy he is. And not Sprewell, what a good guy the owner is. It's, I'm speechless.
Yeah.
Mike, our Sports Center brought to you by Tommy John.
Say goodbye to your outdated, uncomfortable, multi-pack underwear. Say hello to Tommy John, the 21st century men's underwear brand, back by the best pair you'll ever wear, or its free guarantee. Save yourself 20% on your first order with the code Mike at TommyJohn.com. That's TommyJohn.com.
All right, a reminder, if you missed Bomani Jones in hour number 2 this morning, if you missed any of the fun we've had at any of our hours, good time to remind you, you can listen to any and all 4 hours of Mike and Mike on demand in the ESPN app. You can also subscribe to the Best of Mike and Mike podcast. It's all available in the Listen tab of the ESPN app. It was a very interesting NBA weekend, and here to shed some light on all of it, our NBA insider, Mark Stein. Good morning, Mark.
What's up, guys?
Well, here's what I wanted to ask. We'll get to all the KD stuff in a second. But with regard to all of the turmoil surrounding the Knicks, it's easy for me to understand what all the fans are thinking because I get that, and their opinions are always very much on display in any number of ways. What are you hearing from people around the league about what I would describe as just a never-ending series of embarrassments by the organization? What have you heard over the course of the last 6 days about from people inside the NBA about what's happened?
Look, on one hand, it's utterly farcical